about trigger manipulations, right? Now we're going to go deep into trigger manipulations, okay? In order to understand what craftsmanship is, first we have to understand what the shit show is, right? And here's the thing, guys. I don't like to say right or wrong, right? I like to say efficient or inefficient. I'll put my foot down. If for any reason you ever pin the trigger to the rear and then go to the click as your impetus to pull the trigger again, you're a fucking scrub. Stop shooting, go do something else, like golf or something, okay? But just like everything else, we're going to discover why we do that, right? So what are some of the reasons that we have been taught or we teach trapping the trigger to the rear and then going to the click, right? And a lot of you guys do it, so you better say something. Yes, sir.
So once upon a time, drill sergeants told me if I didn't wait till I heard that click, I was fucked up. So
that's it.
What I did.
They didn't tell you why.
Nope.
Right, and it was the Army?
Yeah.
Yep, right. Yeah, Army and pistols. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's one thing.
When I was in classes, they said to do that so that way your second shot will be faster.
Your second shot will be faster. Cool. So we'll test that out, right? Also, when you hear the click of the trigger, what supposed stage of the trigger are you at?
Reset?
The wall. You're at the wall. We'll test that out, okay? We already said that before it was, some people called it follow through, right? You guys know where that myth comes from? Flintlock rifles. For flintlock rifles, there is follow through because when you pull that trigger, click, boom. So if you do anything to move that rifle or that trigger, the ball's not going to go where you want it to go. Guys, when you're semi-automatic pistols, right, when that striker or that hammer hits it, that bullet is gone in 0.02 of a second. There is nothing you can do to influence that trigger after, or that bullet after you pull the trigger. There's plenty you can do before, but not after. So that follow through is a myth, right? I'm going to draw about a 4-inch circle here. And Sasha, what kind of gun you shoot?
Glock 47.
Fuck yeah, come on. All right, get about right about the 4-yard line, right about there. Eyes and ears, everybody. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Get your gun out, break a shot in that circle, pin the trigger to the rear. Good. Now go to the click. Now prep it a little bit. A little more. Okay, cool. Holster up. How many times did I say prep it a little bit more for the gun went bang? Twice. Or once, but prep it about twice, right? About twice. So if he was at the wall, shouldn't the gun gone bang immediately? Sure, but it didn't, right? So we're going to blame Glock because they're the ones that we can blame for this bullshit. When you hear the click of the trigger, your trigger is actually a 1/16 of an inch past the actual reset point. So that click tells you nothing. Even on great triggers like staccatos, you're 1/32 past the actual reset point. So that trigger tells you, that click tells you nothing. Plus, guys, in the test, after one bang, don't go anywhere, you're going to be here for a bit. He's like, God damn it. Out in them streets, after one bang, are you going to hear the click? Nope. You're probably not wearing Air Pro, right? Right? Also, so I know I picked up a man here. You do. Who else has dabbled in jiu-jitsu at all? Anybody else? All right, cool. So, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? How long have you been rolling?
So I did it only before COVID for a year.
For a year, so a year, right? So you probably got like a 1 or 2 white stripe white belt or something like that. You ever help the new guys, the brand new guys that come in, they start rolling, and you're a new guy too, so you're gonna coach them a little bit? You ever tell anybody how to help them?
Yeah.
They hear anything while they're rolling? Now, when they hear a fucking heartbeat, boom, 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 boom. So between loud explosions going off without your Air Pro on and auditory exclusion under pressure, you ain't gonna hear that fucking click. If the click doesn't tell you anything in practice, stop doing it. I'm sorry, in the test, stop doing it in practice. It's a waste of goddamn time, okay? But to further that point, we're gonna test out speed and accuracy based on pinning and resetting, slapping, or prepping the trigger, all right? So, here we go. All right, then get your gun out. Break a shot, pin it to the rear. Okay, so when you hear the shot timer, you need to pull that trigger as fast as you possibly can, but you have to hear the click. Okay, you have to hear the click. Stand by. Good, did you hear the click? Cool, holster. Good, accurate shot. What's that say, Sasha?
0.6.
0.6, downrange.
Downrange.
All right, so that was the pin accurate shot in 0.6, right? Now we're going to compare it to the slap. Now here's the caveat. If his grip is not squared away like I taught him, he's going to drop that shit like a bad habit, right? Because when you slap the trigger, you move the fulcrum. But your grip is what allows that fulcrum to finally move. So got to make sure his grip's squared away. So go ahead and get the gun. Do that grip that I taught you. Good, all right, keep that up here, right? Don't we push you down? Good. Don't we push you up? Good. I want this thenar to go into your nose. Got it? Cool, perfect. Put your finger on the trigger. Now barely take it off the trigger. Barely take it off. A little bit more. No, no, off, off, off. Nope, get it on. Take it off. Right there. You off the trigger? Grab that gun hard. Got it? Stand by. Holster up. Where'd that one go, guys? In the middle of the middle? What's that say?
0.21.
Sasha, was your finger off the trigger?
Yeah.
So by definition, he had to have slapped it, right? Downrange?
Downrange.
0.21. What do you want, boys and girls? Something that is just as effectively accurate, as long as you have a good grip, that is literally 3 times faster. Think about that. Now we're going to get to the next level of prep. Remember I said prep a little bit more, then went bang? You're going to hold it on that second one, okay? So go ahead and get the gun out. All right. Prep it. A little more. Stand by. Holster up. Good accurate shot, guys? Yeah. What's that say?
0.14.
0.14, downrange.
Downrange.
That's the prep. 0.14. When everything was set up, after everything was set up, what was physically the easiest once it was all set up?
The prep.
The prep was, right? From beginning to end, which was the fastest? The slap. The slap was the fastest. Because that begs the question, when would you slap versus prep? When you don't have time to prep, right? This distance, you don't have time to prep. Out there, you have time to prep. You slap out there, that slight movement of the fulcrum will bring you off target, right? So that's why each one is appropriate. But there is never a reason to do this. Just based on that time and the levels of accuracy. You're not gaining anything as far as accuracy. You're only giving up time, right? Now, if some of you going like, bro, that's only a delta of 0.07. Who gives a shit? 700ths of a second. Well, let's convert it, right? 6-round engagement, right? What's that? 7 times 6 is what? 42? My gun out on a 6-round engagement, and I pick up 0.07 on everyone. I pick up 0.42. Me shooting, you've seen the 14 splits. What can I do in 0.42? 3 or 4 pills, right? Now it becomes a little bit dire when we translate time to rounds down range. Does that make sense? Cool, awesome. Everybody give Sasha a round of applause. All right, so here's the other thing, guys. When you pin and reset the trigger, you're doing too much work, okay? How do I know that? So I said before, like if this is your slide, you trap the bore axis above, below, and behind, your gun becomes a flat reciprocating mass, right? If you don't, then it becomes a seesaw. If this was a seesaw and I wanted this end to go up, right? So I'm gonna pin the trigger to the rear. So that's flat, that's pinned. Where's my muzzle? High. High. One more time. That's flat, where's my muzzle? High. Now if I go back to the prep, that looks like this. Where's my muzzle?
On target.
Sorry. Where's my muzzle? Right back to where it needs to be, right? So when you shoot long strings of fire and you pin the trigger to the rear, that looks like this. Look familiar? Or you can get back to the prep and it looks like this. Which one do you guys want? Sometimes 10 times faster, 10 times easier, 10 times less work, and just as effectively accurate. That's why pinning and resetting the trigger needs to go by the wayside, okay? Giving credit where credit is due, the king hater of all click bangers is JJ Ricazzo, okay? If you have a chance to go train with him, you should. He's mostly known for competition. Most people forget he was an air marshal for 12 years, all right? He will teach you about moving, attacking, controlling, and blending targets, right? Trigger manipulation and everything that you can put into any application, all right? Cool. Make sense? All right. Now let's get to the next part, okay? Now we've eliminated the shit show, so now we're gonna get into trigger manipulations, all right? In order to understand the trigger manipulations, we talked about this briefly yesterday, how many walls are in your trigger, all right? So, let's talk about that. In your plastic gun, what is a wall? Trigger bar, plunger safety. When your trigger bar touches the plunger safety, that is pre-travel, okay? We'll talk about whether or not that's a wall or not, right? Then it climbs up the plunger safety, depresses the spring, gets to the other side. When it gets to the other side, your gun goes bang. That's what makes your gun drop safe, okay? With 2011s, 1911s, hammer fire guns, it's springs and sears, okay? But the same basic concept. Anytime you feel any grittiness to that, it's because of casting marks, machining marks on those parts, right? We've all shot a Glock, a Gen 3 Glock before, right? Remember how shitty those triggers were? Until when? About 5,000 rounds through that gun, or you got out your gunsmith Dremel and polishing compound into the 25-cent trigger job. It's like this. I never want your muzzle more than 6 inches off the target, okay? I like to put my firing hand, you guys need to get over here, the ones that are on this side. I like to put my firing hand on my stomach, okay? That eliminates the tension in my firing hand so I can pull the trigger delicately. So, first one is pre-travel. I don't count pre-travel as a wall, and we'll talk about that in a second, right? So, first bit of resistance, that's your pre-travel. Any resistance release, resistance in your release is a wall. So that's pre-travel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Pre-travel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So consistent at 6. All right, there you go, sir. Now he's going to come up, say right toward the target, and then holster toward the target very safely. Cool. Does that make sense? That's what we're doing. 5. Pre-travel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 5. 2.
Gucci Adidas.
All right. Is everybody switched on their own?
Yep. Etihad Airlines stewardess over here.
I got a whole,
Could I bring you some drink service?
See, I kind of added to my.
What's going to happen is you're going to get your cold gun, your dry gun out, right? Your partner is going to say prep. You're going to get to that final wall, and then they're going to say pull. Look like prep, pull. Okay. Did my muzzle move?
No.
No. Was my trigger press done effectively before he finished the word pull?
Yeah.
Yes, it was, right? So that is what we're looking for, right? Everything else that is different from that is simply data for calibration, right? Sometimes you do it too much, sometimes you do it not enough, right? So here's one, grip is good, trigger press is good, but I'm not at the final wall, so that will look like this. Prep, pull. Okay, did my muzzle move?
No.
No. Was my trigger press done before he finished the word pull?
No.
It was not. Why? Because I wasn't at the final wall, right? So if we get to the final wall, effectively, I am pulling the trigger sooner instead of faster.
That's really what
Sorry, I think I was prepped.
I said friend.
Really?
All right, get it up there. Prep.
I don't feel like I can learn my 47 like doing I really got to learn the yield
Prep. Is that an after? Oh, that's shadow system. So they have their own specialized trigger, right? Oh, is it? Okay. Prep. Cool.
But like I don't feel like hot.
Prep.
Cool. That's what's making me sweaty because it's definitely hot right now.
Stop. Prep. Prep. Prep.
Living life.
Cool. Nice one. Prep.
That being said, there's a lot of people here. It's going to get loud, right? You may not hear your partner go prep and pull. Instead, what you're going to do is if they can't hear you, the first tap is prep, the second pull, the second tap is pull. So prep, pull. It's a tap, not a fucking slap, okay? Don't be doing that. You guys, shoulders, not buttocks. All right, got it? There we go. 6 reps. Switch on your own. So Abner, I want you to relax the firing hand. Go again. Right. Keep your thumb up. This seal. Got it? Relax that. Now go.
Okay, just
Pull.
Okay, now, you see the elevation difference even at 3 inches? You have 2 that's low.
Yes.
Then we relax the thumb and you went up 1/2 inch. That's what too much thumb pressure will do.
Okay.
It'll drive you down. The time we relaxed that and sealed that gap, your elevation came up and you're wholly in the 1 inch square instead of on the bottom.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, on that thumb concept,
Yeah.
with that MCP and the Thenar, are you actually going back
Yes.
and forth?
Yes.
Okay, better
This
though.
is not my grip.
Okay, yeah, it is.
I just, you're right. I wasn't.
Pull with the
full.
hand, this hand pushes?
This, no, this hand don't do shit but pull the trigger. So you feel the push pull,
Yeah.
pushing, all pull. So that this is relaxed and can manipulate the trigger however it wants to. Okay? Give that a whirl.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Prep.
Pull.
Prep. Pull. Yeah, I did the click, didn't I? Prep. Pull. Hang on. Okay. Prep. Pull. Beautiful.
I don't know. I'm
Prep.
aiming in the middle for
Pull.
I must just have to.
Prep. Pull. Good. Prep.
No, the group is great.
Pull. That's excellent.
Square. Downrange.
They talk
Alright,
about
so let's do some diagnosis based on grip sights and trigger. So, come on. Guys, everybody come on down here. Come on down here. Who shot this? Fuck yeah, you did. All right. Fuck yes. Okay. Here. So you're between that and those.
I wasn't to the wall yet.
You went to the wall, so you did a controlled slap and did that. Okay. Who shot this? Okay. How come we didn't shoot any higher? Who's your partner? You failed. You failed. We should have got him higher. Okay. So let's go through grip, sights, and trigger. All right. First thing is your sight. Where is your sight? On the top line. Okay. Did you get to the final wall? You did. So the last thing had to be was grip. Okay. You have a tendency to love your thumbs being forward, right? So when you do that, you pull the trigger, you pull the gun down. Does that make sense? All right. So great group, but at 25 yards, that'd be a foot low. Okay. Cool. So moving on. Who shot here? Okay. What's the difference between that one and that one?
I did the first 3 low. Okay. So
You aimed low.
I was aiming on the center. They were going low.
Why'd you put the dot in the center? Because you know listening, Linda.
I changed the dot to put it higher.
Okay.
But then I went too high.
Okay.
So then that's why the third one was the center, the one that they aimed in the center.
There you go. You figured it out, right? Does that make sense? All right, cool, awesome. Prepare, pull. Okay, 1 inch group. Makes sense, right? So all I did was put my finger on the trigger, get to the pre-travel, and slap that fucking thing. All right. Now I'm gonna do a full slap. Verify for me that my finger is on the front of the trigger guard.
It is.
It is. Okay, here we go. Prepare, pull. Prepare, pull. Downrange.
Downrange.
My finger was all the way off.
Yes, sir.
Here and here. It's about a 1 1/4 inch group, slapping the fuck out of the trigger.
So prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Now we're gonna slap. Okay. Slap. 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 Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. All right, we'll go back to slap.
I just all the same because I don't have a
Slap.
fingernail.
Slap.
Then I really like smack.
Slap. Slap. You're definitely better with your prep.
More consistent.
Yeah. Is it up there? Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Prep. Pull. Was that 6? Well, we're gonna call that 6.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Slap. 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 Hurrah!
Be holstered. Pick up your mags, downrange.
Downrange.
How many of you guys, with your controlled slap, pretty impressed with what you wound up doing. Raise your hand if you were impressed with yourself. Go ahead, it's okay.
It did not suck.
Yeah, it did not suck, right? How many of you guys, when you did the full slap, went, what the fuck is going on? That thing on the goddamn thing, right? No? None of you? Why don't you raise your goddamn hand? You're completely unimpressed with yourself, everybody? No? What'd you discover?
What I really discovered was I was letting my forehand be a bitch in the first place.
Okay, fair enough, but that's it.
I discovered that if I just leave my thumb up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit that target. If my grip is
Yeah, there you go, right? So again, guys, me telling you what you're going to see is only going to go so far. You have to discover it so it's your own idea. Why is that important? Guys, I could be the best instructor on the face of the earth, man, but it stays my idea, it's not going to stick. The minute you think it becomes your idea, that shit sticks right now. Why? Because to you, you are the smartest person on the face of the earth, right? You can kind of be like egalitarian. It's like, oh no, my wife is smarter than me. That's bullshit. To you, you are the smartest person on the face of the fucking earth. That's why I got to make it your idea. You just discovered that, didn't you? None of you would have done this on this type of thing unless I said, hey, give it a whirl. Hey, here's what I did. Hey, you give it a try. Now it's like, oh my God. Now, when are we going to slap versus prep versus control? Based on the difficulty of the target. All right, difficulty of the target, right?